What's going on YouTube? Flashy here and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. To round out our ultimate arc build series for this season, we just have one class left, and that of course is the Titan. I gotta say, I've been running this one for a few days now and it has been a blast. And pun is very intended, which you'll see why as we get into the video. No matter what is in front of you, whether it's bosses or a room full of ads, you just obliterate everything.
Exodia! Obliterate!
I usually only go with solar when I'm on my Titan, but once you pair the Arc subclass with a few exotics, you can just become an absolute beast. But before we get into it, be sure to leave a like on the video. It helps out the channel a ton, and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future Destiny 2 videos here. And now to get into the build, starting with the subclass, of course, it's going to be Arc, and we'll be using Thunder Crash. And for our abilities, we'll be going with Towering Barricade, Strafe Lift for our jump, Seismic Strike for our melee. Even though it recently got nerfed in terms of being a movement ability, it's still just one of my favorite Titan melees. I love using this. And for our grenade, we'll take the Flashbang. Moving over to the aspects, first up, we'll take Touch of Thunder, which is actually going to enhance our flashbangs by giving them an additional blinding flash on bounce. And our second aspect is going to be Knockout. Critically wounding a target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attacks with arc energy and increases your melee range and damage for a short time. Defeating targets with melee attacks starts health regeneration and makes you amplified. And for those that might not know, being amplified gives you a movement speed and weapon handling buff and an additional movement speed bonus after sprinting. So yeah, we do get a ton of really solid buffs here just from the abilities and aspects alone on Arc Titan, which I really like. But we also have the fragments, which are going to make us even better, of course. So we're going to start with Spark of Haste. You have greatly increased resilience, recovery, and mobility while sprinting. Spark of Shock, your arc grenades jolt targets, and I love to pair this with the flashbangs because now our grenades are going to chain lightning and actually kill enemies, and anything that they don't take care of is sitting there blinded from the flash. Really awesome synergy here between the grenade and the fragment. Then we have Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace, and those ionic traces are going to grant us ability energy for more barricades. And finally, Spark of Amplitude. Rapidly defeating targets while you're amplified creates an orb of power. So now that our subclass is all set and we're ready to send anything in front of us to the Shadow Realm in a giant burst of blue dust, it's time to look at the weapons we'll be pairing with this build, starting with our exotic, and that's going to be Trinity Ghoul. It's been a while since I've used this bow, but tons of people have been talking about it in the comments since Season 21 started, and for good reason too. It still just clears any ads in the room, and it's so satisfying to see the chain lightning disintegrate everything. And since it's technically a primary, the unlimited ammo is actually really nice. And for our heavy, we're keeping it simple with the Hothead Arc rocket launcher. Just another way to make things go boom is really my only reasoning behind running this, and you know what? I love it. It's great. And now before we get into the armor though, let's head over to the seasonal artifact and check out which mods we can use to beef up this arc build even more. First up, as always, we're going to take authorized mods arc and melee, which is going to drop the armor energy costs of mods affecting both of these from 3 down to just 1. Amped up, stay amplified longer while your subclass is equipped. Thunderous Retort grants bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or amplified. Electric armor, gain damage resistance while amplified. Shock and awe, arc final blows while you're amplified, summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. And finally, lightning strikes twice after throwing an arc grenade, gain increased grenade recharge for a short time. Arc final blows extend the duration of this benefit. And now to the armor, starting with our exotic Curus of the Falling Star, which has the armor perk Glorious Charge. Greatly increases your Thunder Crash impact damage, gain an overshield that lasts longer the farther you travel before striking a target. So this is just a straight up 100% increased damage buff to our super. No gimmicks or any funny business, just raw damage output. I love this exotic. It's just so satisfying seeing a boss's health bar just get nuked or an entire room of enemies just disintegrate after slamming down in the middle of all of them. And now let's get into the armor mods, starting with the helmet. We have Arc Siphon, rapid arc weapon final blows create an orb of power. 1 copy of Dynamo reduces super cooldown when using your class ability near targets. And hands-on, gain bonus super energy on melee kills. On the gauntlets, we have 2 copies of Impact Induction, causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. And then 1 grenade kickstart, regenning some grenade energy as soon as we throw a grenade. On our exotic chest piece, really simple. We just have 1 arc reserves, increases the amount of ammo you carry for arc weapons. And then any energy resistances here depending on what activity you're running at the time. If you wanted, you could also grab Unflinching Arc Aim. It tends to work out pretty well, but I just like the survivability of the resistances. And for the boots, of course, if you've been watching the build videos, you know exactly what the first 2 are. Recuperation and better already. Both replenishing and regenerating health on Orb of Power pickups. I never get tired of saying it. This is one of my favorite combos for mods in all of Destiny 2. And then 1 copy of Absolution reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an Orb of Power. And finally, on my Titan Mark, I have a pretty standard setup that I usually go with. We have 2 copies of Bomber, reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability, and 1 copy Distribution reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. When you pair all of this together, you are a force to be reckoned with because everything in your path is either going to be blinded, chained by lightning, or disintegrated into small blue particles from a 100% damage increase Thunder Crash. Not to mention how much utility our bow and rocket launcher have. I gotta say, man, this has been one of the most fun builds I've ran so far this season. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments if you decide to try this one out and tell me what you think. If you're interested in the appearance customization I used for this build, that's on screen now if you want to screenshot it. And I'll also leave the dim link down in the description. As a reminder, be sure to check out my TikTok page as well, which is also linked down in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.